How's it going, everybody? This is the More Defined podcast. Welcome back. I'm your host, James Chapman Jr., and today we have Bleu-Jean, who I will let introduce herself and share a little bit more about who she is and what she does.
Hi, you guys. I'm so excited to be here. Again, like you said, my name is Bleu-Jean. I'm 24, going on 25 in July. I'm a creative. I'm an artist. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. I'm a stylist. I'm a creative director. Do a little bit of everything. But as far as lately, I've been really into fashion and trying to pursue my styling career and getting that off the ground. And it's been a little tough, but it's been very rewarding at the same time. So yeah.
All right. The essence of this podcast is a conversation type style podcast. And so that's definitely how I want to flow. This is also a safe space, and I like to start off with a check in. How's everything going, 1 through 10, kind of in life? And when you get done, I can share a little bit about myself too.
Okay. For me, life is like an 8 right now. I'm not gonna lie. Probably like last month, I probably would have said like 6, but it's been going up. Like it's going uphill, and I just couldn't be more happier about how life is heading for me because it feels like everything is falling together, and everything that I said I was
Yeah.
gonna do, I'm doing it. And any complications that I have, I've been kind of just having a more positive outlook on it in general, and just been trying to like put the negative to the back and just focus on what I can control and not worry about what I can't.
That's so real. Like, it took me a long time to get to that point. It's still a daily thing, but realizing that you can just focus on the things that you can control and not worry about anything that you can't control, that's a big breakthrough.
Yes, it took a minute. Don't get me wrong. I didn't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm gonna be like this today. Like I had to go through the
Yeah,
ups and downs to get here.
I definitely get that. For me, I said it was a 9 the other day. Think I'm probably gonna still say I'm a 9. I'm just really glad that I'm getting back to my podcast. Um, it's crazy because the first time I started doing it a few years ago, I was in a wholly different place mentally, not in a bad place, but it was just a totally different place. And then getting back to it last year, I didn't realize how much it would like pick me up. Um, and I realized that was a good bit of where I was getting new interactions with different people too, since I don't go out like all the time. But even when I do go, I still try to get a little bit of that. So the podcast is a big thing for me. Um,
Good seeing you get back out. Like I haven't seen you since high school, so to see you like come to the
yeah.
events, it was like wow. It's great to see people that you grew up with kind of stepping
Mhm.
into themselves for real. Yes, it's beautiful to
Yeah, I
see.
mean, when I was in Starkville, when I would come back home, only thing I would do besides go to church or family events would be like chill at home because I was doing homework, or other times I just didn't want to be bothered because I would do a few things in Starkville. But like when I came back after graduating, I was like, let me tap in a little bit more because I know it's been a lot going on here, bubbling up around the area. So I was like, let me actually take time out to do this. And so seeing you at some events, seeing some other people that I've grown up with and everything like that at other events, it was like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna start to get back out here a little bit.
Yes, what made you want to start the podcast?
So the first one, it was just self-titled. It was the James Chapman podcast. It was by myself. I basically did it on like one word or one theme topics. I did like 82 episodes or something. Like I was cranking them out like week after week after week. Um, and that was just more for me to kind of share as much of like a positive thing as I could, or like a different point of view on like a lot of different themes that we seem to circulate a lot, especially on social media, when it comes to like mental health and things of that nature, when it comes to money, trying to have that financial literacy, things of that nature. I talked about college a little bit because I was in school then, and a few other things. So that's what it was. Like I just felt like I need to give that part of myself out to the world. It was actually exactly what I needed at that point in time. Uh, but then doing this one and then having like a whole rebrand, I was like, the thing that I enjoy the most more than anything is talking to people. And so getting a chance to talk to different people, hear their stories, help them tell their stories, like that was something I've always had in my heart. And I just didn't know how to really like piece it together. Because at one point I wanted to be a journalist. But I kind of swayed off of that and got into like engineering. But I was like, I can still do some of that with the podcast. And so
Definitely.
like that's why I came back to it.
Well, I'm glad you got the chance to come back, because many people don't. Many people have an idea, yeah, they go through it for like a little bit of time, be like, well, I tried, and it's not really picking up how I thought it was, and
Yeah.
they get discouraged about it. So kudos to you for keeping it going. And you say when you got started with the podcast, it was just something that you feel like, you had to give yourself the people to you. I mean, give yourself to the people. And I kind of feel that way about when I started doing poetry. I needed to kind of step outside of myself for a minute and just allow myself to exist and be and like make mistakes and be nervous and all that type of stuff, because I needed to get over that.
Yeah.
And so like my first time performing, it was at Verbal Verses, and I was so nervous, but I was just like, I'm excited at the same time because I'm doing something I've never done before. Like in school, I used to have really, really bad. It wasn't stage fright. I couldn't do public speaking. Like I couldn't.
Really?
I had anxiety around it. And so it made it very hard. And so poetry was a way for me to kind of express myself without having to really give myself to anybody. It was just something for me. But I feel like it was time for me to give it to somebody else. And let the people who are kind of struggling with that, let them see that, it's really not as hard as you think it is once you just do it. Yeah. And I kind of want to be an inspiration, because it's hard for me to find inspiration for things. So if I can be an inspiration to somebody else, then I'm all for it.
I got you. Kind of foreshadowing a little bit with some of these questions, but I like it though.
Okay.
We can definitely circle back around to it
Yeah.
on a deeper level. But no, being able to share that to the world, that was something big for me, and so I'm definitely glad that you sense that sentiment
Yeah.
and have it with your poetry. So. All right, this is something I ask all my guests. At what moment did you know, or did someone tell you that you had the I know you do a lot of different things, but uh maybe we can just talk about the poetry and the styling. Like when did you first kind of like know like this is exactly something that I'm good at and I'm passionate about?
I'm going to start with poetry because fashion, it kind of gets a little bit deeper for me. In poetry, I can kind of just speed through. But I feel like after, I want to say maybe my third performance, maybe, and it was at Verbal Verses again, but this time they had moved to Doolin Hall. I had did a poem. That was my first time performing. I had did a poem titled Love-Jean soundtrack, and I had written it that week, like that week of the show. Really, probably like the day before, day of the show, finished it, and I had to learn it. And I was so nervous because I was just like, I need to stop doing last minute things. But I realized I thrive in last minute. I'm sorry. I love the chaos. And so I was just like, okay, well, this is kind of a test of like my ability and how much I can kind of put the work in, even though it was last minute. And so I got on that stage. Actually, before I got on the stage, I had almost missed my turn because I was outside practicing. Because I was that nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I do this to myself? And so they're calling my name, and somebody come outside, and they was like, they looking for you. I was like, they looking for me. And I run in there. And I literally, they start the music. As soon as I get on stage, you can see the Instagram video on my page. Like as soon as they start the music, I start speaking, and I'm just like, it just came out of me. Like I wasn't in that moment anymore. The moment was there. Like I felt like I had came, and it was just there for me. And after I got off the stage, it was so exhilarating. And one thing I realized with my performances, I kind of black out. Like I'm not there anymore. And I kind of just, I don't know, I just get on that stage and I just become a beast in a sense. And it kind of reminds me of Beyonce, how she is, like her Sasha Fierce persona. It's kind of like that. Like I get on that stage and I'm not responsible for the person that I am up there. Like that's just, that's the artist side of me, the performer side of me, and the side of me that lets all the inhibitions free. And that moment, it made me realize, like, dang, I can really do this. Like, I can do this. And I felt so good doing it. And after that, I kind of just kept going. But at the same time, I've been having my ups and downs with my poetry career and just like where I want to go in my journey. And I've gotten to the point where I want to mix it between poetry and fashion and kind of make it, one thing instead of trying to separate myself so much, because I know I'm not just that, but at the same time, I'm all these things. So I would like to combine them into one. And so with fashion, I'm not gonna lie. It started as a kid. Like, I used to just love looking at clothes. I love dressing up and all this stuff. I love mixing patterns and stuff. And then I didn't really have like all the money and stuff. So we would shop at JC Penney's, Burlington's, and all that, where you can get
Yeah.
discount clothes. And that kind of helped me tailor my style a little bit, because I'm not wearing anything that everybody else is, because of course I'm getting it from places that probably most people aren't shopping for real if they got it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to say my journey started in 10th grade, once I really got the chance to start thrifting, and my style kind of developed into like a 90s style, because who didn't want to dress like a 90s kid? And so after high school, I kind of got more into thrifting and got more into like different textures and all that stuff, and just trying many different silhouettes and all that. But I got really stuck on like the baggy style for a long time, like streetwear. But I would say probably like last year, well, no, I'm gonna say 2023, when I really started my poetry career. That's when my fashion started to change a little bit, because I was trying to create my persona of Bleu-Jean.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to kind of explore different styles to really figure out who I was as an artist. And so when it came to fashion, where I feel like I reached my peak, I'm not gonna lie, I felt that kind of like this year.
Okay.
Like, I felt very evolved into like a stylist, a person who loves and knows and isn't knowledgeable about fashion this year, just because I kind of decided like I want to do this. And it wasn't like a specific moment that made me feel like that. It was just like, well, I'd have made my mind up about it, so this is what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm tired of putting it off. And I realized once I was kind of like drifting away from poetry, it kind of made me feel like, well, maybe it's time to lean into fashion 100% now. And so I guess my push away from poetry made me realize, okay, you really like fashion just a little bit more.
That's how it is with some things. I know a lot of people start off kind of doing one thing, and then they have something for whatever reason, they take a break from it, and then they hop on to something else, and they realize, wait, I actually have a lot more energy for
Yeah.
this. Like, let me focus on that. Like, even for me, like, I started out with photography. Like, it's just something about being able to take a picture for me personally, because I love taking pictures. I might not post a lot of them, but I love taking pictures. But it's like being able to take somebody else's picture too. It was just something exhilarating about that for me. But then I kind of got in my head about a few different things, and I was on this thing about judging myself and comparing myself to other people. But then when I really thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. I like videos a lot more. I like films a lot more. Like, that's really where I'm like good at, and where I know I can make an impact in. And so I was like, let me shift to that. And so that's where my videography thing comes into.
Yeah, sometimes it takes that one thing to show you that you kind of interested in something else, or kind of give you the push to get to something else. And I'm grateful for poetry, and I'm grateful for the way it was received. And it actually opened up a lot of doors and connections for me. So I would never take it for granted. But I
Yeah.
had to really be honest with myself about what I wanted to do. And I realized I wrote my poetry a lot of my off like my experiences, and I stopped experiencing life for a period of time. So like the poetry just stopped flowing for a second. And so I had to kind of find another outlet, and fashion just happened to be there for me always.
Your stage name, or a creative name in a sense, Bleu-Jean. What is the origin of like you creating this name?
I love telling this story, because I'm gonna be honest, it has a few variations, but when it gets down to like the nitty gritty of it all, it started with my love of fashion and like loving to wear denim like all the time. I love a denim 2-piece set. I used to wear like if I had an outfit on, I'm 9 times out of 10 wearing jeans, but I got out of that. But the name came, I was actually just chilling with a friend. His name is Kai. He's in the Downbeat band. If you heard of the Downbeat, then you should know
Yeah,
Kai.
yeah.
But yes, his name is Kai. And one day we were sitting there howling mouths, and I wanted to figure out my name, because at first I was going to be Jean m'appelle Chantel. My name is Chantel. I was going to be that. And I was like, well, that doesn't really speak to me for real. I liked it because it rhymed.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
it would have stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a nice twist to it, but at the same time, it didn't feel authentic to me. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna keep workshopping it. And so I thought of the name, well, we thought of the name Bleu-Jean, and he kind of helped me come up with the French spelling because I didn't want it to be like just regular blue, I guess. I didn't want it to be like that. And so the blue jean, of course I wear denim, blue jean, denim pants. But also my grandmother's name is Betty Jean. And so she passed away last year, top of the year. And I kind of wanted to make sure that my name also paid homage to her in a way. And so with her being Betty Jean, I was just like, Blue Jean too, you know. It just worked out. Like I was already Blue Jean before she passed away, but like when she passed away, I decided to make my name an homage to her rather than what it was originally meant. It got a little deeper.
Yeah.
You know, and then she never got a chance to see me perform. I don't think she even knew if I did poetry for real. But like, even when I do perform, it feel like she's still with me. So I know she's proud of me, whether she saw me or not. So it's just an homage to her at this point, and for her to name to live on in a way through me.
Okay. Is the name kind of like or the persona, is it kind of like an alter ego for you in a sense?
I would say so. If you look at my Instagram page, it says alter ego in my bio. Yes, it's just a person that's a little more fierce, a little more wilder, a little more free, and doesn't really care about the opinions of anybody. And it's definitely gonna do what they want to do. And not saying Destiny's not gonna do that, but with Bleu-Jean, it's just like taking up several more notches to where it's just so braggadocious about it, and you know, like I'm the sugar honey iced tea.
Okay. On the denim tail, jeans and everything. What is it that you love about denim so much?
I love the versatility of it. You can wear it any type of way. It comes in jeans, vests, shorts, shirts. It's just the versatility of it and just the way sometimes it can be like very fitting to the body, but sometimes it can be very relaxed and laid back. And I just love like I'm a person of very much duality, and I love duality in all parts of my life, whether it's fashion, whether it's work, whether it's, you know, whatever it is. And I just love the fact that denim has this potential to be anything that it wants to be. It's like a blank canvas. You can customize it, shred it up, add patches, paint on it. So it's just like a blank canvas, and I'm able to tell a story through it, you know? Yeah.
Okay. I know you kind of answered this in a sense. See, I want to ask this. So the fashion thing, you said you were into it as a kid. Um, when did you kind of start display that in like a daily sense?
I would say I want to say like 8th grade maybe. No, let me take that back. I want to say like 3rd through 5th grade actually, because I used to, even if I didn't wear like different clothes, I used to try to find shoes that were different. So I used to have these Jordan boots that I know nobody else had, and it just made me realize it's so much uniqueness in like everything. So I just knew from a young age that I always wanted to find something unique when it came to fashion. But when it really came to fruition, I would say high school, honestly. High school allowed me to kind of step into myself a little bit. I wasn't all the way there yet just because I was battling with crippling anxiety. So I wasn't all the way there yet. So yeah, I kind of explored it a little bit more in high school, and then after high school, a little bit in college. But once I got into like my mid 20s and stuff, that's when I was able to really get free in it and just allow myself to figure myself out through fashion and not feel like I had to put so many restrictions on myself or be one thing or be another. I allowed myself to explore the feminine side and the masculine side, and even the side that combines them both. And that's just who I am as a person. I'm balanced. I love balance. So you know, it took a minute. I'm still at the point of where sometimes I feel like maybe my fashion isn't always there, and I'm always at a point of growing and evolving in my fashion. So I don't think it'll ever get to the point where I'm just like, ooh, this is it, because I'm always trying to take it to the next level. I'm like really competing with myself on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in high school, was it kind of like a thing where some of your friends, or maybe just people that you were following, like celebrities or like people who were like really deep into the fashion world, was it something for you then to kind of connect to?
Um, The only person that I feel like I could really connect to with fashion was my best friend Sade, and that's because we both understood each other through fashion. And she used to have she has her own business and stuff, so we would kind of help each other with that. But it just came for a need to be different. Like I never wanted to be like anybody else, and I realized in high school that I wasn't a follower, but I wasn't a person that also had like my own personality yet and knew who I was. So it was just a need to kind of figure out who I was more than anything.
Mhm. Okay. And then on the poetry tip, was it something that you started to do, like just journaling or like a diary or something like that, younger, until you got to the point of feeling like you could kind of do it on social media or like on stage?
So this is a good question though. So when I was 19, I went through a bad breakup, and the reason we broke up, well, it was multiple reasons, but the main reason we broke up was because I didn't really know how to express myself in the way that I wanted to. Like a lot of times I didn't have the words, and I didn't know sometimes exactly what I was feeling. So when I would write poetry, it was just like it was so much easier to know how I was feeling. Also, just to put it in rhymes, it just made it more
Yeah.
make it more sense. And so I can actually, if you want to, I can read one of like the first poems I ever read. I ever
Mm,
wrote, and it's called "The Timeline," I believe. Let me see. Oh, actually, yeah, it's called "Where Do We Go Wrong?" in parentheses the timeline. So it kind of, I want to say it kind of tells the story of like how we were good and then how we got bad in a sense. And I also have this piece that's kind of like a continuation because me and that person got back together after we broke up, but we ended up breaking up for good. And I ended up writing a piece about that is on my page. And I could read that too, just to show you like the transition between me thinking I could do this and me knowing I could do this.
mm,
Yeah. So I'm gonna read this piece. Hey, I got your note. Those feelings you wrote. How long have you been feeling this way? How come you never opened your mouth to say those things? Those things that made me shudder. Thoughts become cluttered. Suddenly everything's black. Pause. Now play, I'm back. I just have one question. Where do we go wrong? How do we right those wrongs? Just this makes two, huh? I was never good at math anyway. I hate to say I think the feelings you have for me have faded away. Please don't tell me this is true. There isn't a day that I don't think about you. Pause. Now rewind. Think back to a time when the love was fresh and felt like LeBron in his prime. Think back to a time when we connected and shared the same mind. One more time, think back. Reminisce about when times were good, the hardships we withstood. Pause. And it ends there. And so this other piece I wrote was just like me coming to terms with like it's really over and like,
mm.
it's nothing we can really do about it at this point. We just gotta accept it. And so hold on. This is actually I think my most popular piece on my page. Yeah, it was kind of a messy kind of piece. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't when I posted it, it wasn't to be messy. It was just to release that situation. But the person who it's about, of course, they're in the video, but like they took it as me, like I guess trying to talk mess about them. But I never said anything bad about them in the poem. It was just me coming to terms with my feelings. It was more about me than it ever was about them. And so this one is called "Moving On Is Hard." I unblocked you today, turning over a new leaf, I suppose. Guess I was hoping for some kind of relief, but you know how that goes. It didn't help one bit. I tried to commit to the idea of forgetting you because I doubt I ever crossed your mind, but you left a stain on my brain and I feel so damn ashamed that I still love you. Not a day goes by where I don't think about the kisses and hugs, but we can't forget about the problems we swept under the rugs and chose not to acknowledge. Now we're hostages to this garbage. And I'm the one with the gun, or maybe we both had one, pointed right at each other, waiting to pull the trigger that ultimately dead our situation. Instead, hesitation creeps in, and now we're back at the start again with our guns uncocked. You're back blocked, but tomorrow I'll be back on the block saying, I unblocked you today. So it was just like we were going through this cycle of like up and down. And honestly, it was just like knowing that we didn't need to get back together, but we were just so used to each other that we was like, we could try it again.
Mhm.
But like that's it. But we just had to realize like, no, we ain't meant for each other no more. We both in two different places right now, and that's okay. Let's just move on. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I feel like I was a poet. I knew how to express myself better when that piece came out. I was like, okay, I've gotten to the point where I know how I feel about things. I know I can feel this way, and I also feel bad for feeling this way because
Mhm.
I have a right and I'm entitled to my feelings and my emotions. You know, whether somebody else agree with them, and sometimes hell, I don't even agree with my own emotions, but I have them, and I just have to work through them and process them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just it was just a need to express myself and learn how to without making it so hard because it's really not that hard. You know, I think sometimes as humans we make things harder than they have to be. When life really can be black and white if you make it. It doesn't always have to be in the gray area.
That's very true. I know for a fact because I used to live solely in the gray in a lot of different situations, but making things a lot more simpler. It's a lot easier now too, and so I don't have to juggle a whole bunch of different things in my mind.
How would you say
But
you got to living in the black and white?
yeah. I would say kind of in the similar situation, even though it's a little bit later on in terms of timeline. Um, After my breakup in my second relationship, and just taking that time for myself, because it was during COVID too, and so this was 2020, and so we broke up in April, and like from that point, probably until maybe February, March of 2021, I just really had to like focus on myself and try to figure out, okay, what am I doing right in life? What am I doing wrong in life? What are the areas that I know I can improve? And then like what are the things that I know I to like constantly work on for myself? And so a lot of that was the like self-imposed inflictions that I would have. And I was like, if I didn't do this, if I didn't do that, a lot of different things would have been different. If I wasn't so in my head, double, triple guessing about a lot of different things, some things probably would have worked out a little bit differently. But some of those things happened exactly the way they were supposed to happen. And then too, me realizing that like the things that cause my anxiety in certain senses, and then also caused me to be a huge overthinker. I was like, all right, how can I slow down my brain and realize that none of this is going to get done in 24 hours. And at the same time, too, I can only control so much. And so that's when I like kind of like reshifted my mind on a lot of different things. I think that was probably the time too when I was stepped away from saying I was like a religious Christian in a sense. And I kind of tapped into a little bit more of a spiritual sense. And
That
so
also
me and
kind of
my
helped me learn
relationship,
more about myself, just being more like spiritual rather than
yeah,
religious.
yeah, me and my relationship with God actually started to build itself up. And then I was just able to center myself off of everything that I like just previously said. And so with that, I was able to slow down my brain a lot more. I was able to bounce back because like during that fall semester 2020, that was my worst semester of school ever. And so
Why do you say that if you
2021,
don't mind sharing?
um, with COVID and everything, we had hybrid classes. Or some of them were hybrid, and then some of them were strictly online. And so, like me going from doing a co-op, not being at school that spring, COVID hitting, um, it was crazy because I was on a trip for one of my sisters. It was her graduation trip. COVID hit like literally, and that's when like this country took it serious. I came back from that trip, we were kind of teetering on it at work, whether we were going to be like super social distancing and all that or whatnot. I was kind of nervous to come home a couple times because I was in Alabama then.
Yeah.
Um, and I did eventually get to the point where I could like come home a couple times before my semester ended. Um, but like even during that and that summer, things were okay. But like that fall, doing hybrid classes and being online for some of those, and then still dealing with the after effects of that breakup. I was just mentally kind of like psyching myself out. And so I ended up having, what was it, like 6 C's, I think it was.
Not
And
you.
like, some of those classes were D's majority of the semester. And so I really had to do a lot of work those last 4 or 5 weeks to get some of those to C's. And like two of those classes were B's, but like they fell down to C's.
Yeah, I heard
And so I
C's
was like,
get degrees. I'm just saying.
hey, that was the semester I had heard it all my life. That was the semester I was like, C's get degrees. And so anybody I talked to afterwards, I like, hey, every now and again you're gonna have a class or two or a semester where hey, you just gotta thug it out
You
and
got
make sure
to.
you pass. Like but it was after that and everything, coming back from school after that December, getting back into doing my part-time job. Cause I think that was the second time I worked at Bath and Body Works. At that point, things really slowed down and cleared themselves for me. And I was like, all right, let's start 2021 on a better note. And then I can try to do this one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time. And so that's when things started to be more black and white. I would still have moments where they would get really gray. Um, Even in a similar to me and that my ex, we didn't even talk for a long time. And then I finally worked up to nerve to talk to her and apologize. And like we were cool, but we didn't even like get back to start talking to each other until we saw each other again. And this is for one of my sister's orientations at Southern Miss. And it was funny because she didn't even go that fall. She ended up going the next fall. But after we saw each other, we actually started getting back cool and everything like that. But we eventually ended again. But it was more of a me realizing how I wanted to move at that point. Which also helped me clarify a lot of things and not try to be so gray in that aspect too. But I mean, it's a daily thing, uh, like for all of us. So.
Literally, because I was just at a point last month and probably like, well, really from like December until last month, I was in the gray
Mhm.
area. Like I would say
Yeah.
I'm confused a lot. And I was just like, well, I am confused. And a lot of people be like, it's power in the tongue. It's power in the tongue, but it's
Oh
also
yeah.
power in your reality. You have to be real with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You can be like, everything is so good right now and be delusional about it. But letting yourself, but like being honest with yourself and telling you you're confused helps you grow and helps you ask the questions that you need to ask and reflect. Reflecting is so necessary to be able to grow and also just get
Oh
out of the
yeah.
gray area. Like I feel like life again is back black and white for me. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's not just a linear journey. It's literally up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's never going to be over. And I kind of appreciate life in that sense. You know, it'll never be
Oh
just like this. I feel like I would get too bored if it's just
yeah. Mm.
coasting.
For sure.
So yeah,
For sure.
I think we're both doing good in reflecting and also noticing things about ourselves where we can improve and where we can grow and change. So I think we're doing great. We're doing great.
Self reflection is probably the biggest thing that made me turn around because I don't think I was doing it before age 2021. And
Definitely.
so during that period when I was talking about where things start to like turn around, I started to really self reflect. Um, and then I think that's probably when I started talking about mental health on that first podcast too, around that same time frame. And then after that year, I think that's when I got back into journaling. And so like self reflection, journaling, and then just knowing times where I need to like just sit with myself, that was really big. And so I, if anybody was to ask me like one thing that's like really big in life or whatever, younger, older, whatever, I said just knowing how to self reflect and knowing when to call yourself out on your own
Yes,
bullshit.
because
Like
it's easy to
that's
call
the
out other
thing.
people. It's
Yeah.
so easy to do that and make people realize what's wrong with themselves. But like when you start
Mm-hmm.
doing the inner work, that's what's really important, and that's really what
Oh
makes
yeah.
what creates change. So
Oh
yeah, I definitely agree. Like if you're not self-reflected, then you can't be around me.
yeah. The energies this is not gonna match.
Need people that's oblivious to their problems but can call out other people's problems. Like, who are you, Dr. Phil?
Man. Um. So, do you have any poets or wordsmiths that you like looked up to when you kind of started to get like serious with the poetry?
Can I be honest with you? No.
Eh,
But I say no
People,
though.
people will ask me, because you know a lot of people think you got to have an inspiration or
Yeah.
whatever, or you got to have like a role model. And people have asked me like, who do you like want to be a role? Who's like your role model or something like that, or who's like something you follow when it comes to film or something? And I'm like, I don't really have anybody. Like, it's just me kind of doing what I feel in a sense.
Yes, I'm just so inspired by myself, and I was just talking about this the other day. And sometimes I think that sounds like conceited and vain a little bit, but
Yeah.
like I'm not trying to be what the next person is. I'm trying to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like if I take in too many influences, I'm not myself, and I'm not going to be able to figure out who I am as a person if I'm sitting here looking at what the next person is doing. So I don't have any inspiration. Like I have people that I like and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that. But like to be like, oh, I'm so inspired by the work that they do. It makes me want to do it like this. No, I don't. Like I will say it's an artist name. It's Hootie. She inspires me as like being a badass and being just like a performer and just being so in your face. Like I love her. Amanda Furge, I would kind of consider her like a small mentor for me because she reminds me of myself. I feel like I would be her when I'm older, and she's just so carefree and a free spirit. Like I'm inspired in the way of like lifestyle and like how people present themselves and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
energy rather than the work that they do. I guess in the art that they do. Like I love art in a sense, but I love art in the sense of like it's like moving me, but not influencing what I do, I guess, if that
I
makes
got you.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's about the feeling of it all rather than the inspiration and influence behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I do have a couple lyricists that I like. I love Doja Cat. I love Doechii because I started off before I got into poetry, I wanted to be a songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. We was gonna talk about the songwriting, but
we're gonna get there. Okay, let me not rush the process.
but no, I mean, like with that, like that's real, like because poetry in itself is literally like songwriting, and for me, because I started with creative writing, like as a kid, my imagination ran wild, but for me to like put it on paper was something big for me. And so like I wasn't even into poetry then, but then I realized what it was and like how similar it's interweaved in a lot of different things. And so like songwriting and poetry go hand in hand.
Yep, songwriting helped me realize that I'd rather be a poet than be a songwriter. Because I feel like songwriting was just so restrictive and I just had to do it a certain way and I wasn't able to get out my head about that at the time. So I moved into poetry because it felt more free and like liberating. And I was able to kind of really say what I wanted to say without having to, I guess, make it sound a certain way. Because I feel like with
Mm,
songwriting, it's really you have to try to catch people's attention. You have to
yeah,
be
yeah,
like so finicky about everything, and with poetry, is just you can just be, and that's where I am in my life. I just want to be. I just want to exist.
mm-hmm. I got you on that one. When was the first time you performed a piece live?
Verbal verses, 2023. I think it was like April 2023. It was at the I think like 718 South President Street or something like that
Yeah.
downtown. So it's downtown, and I signed up on a whim. I was just like, well, if I sign up, I'm the type of person if I commit to something, then I'm not backing out. I can't.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's not me. It makes me feel really bad on the inside that I don't commit to myself and I don't actually say what I'm going to do because why am I saying it? Am I just saying it just to
Mm-hmm.
talk? Am I just trying to make somebody else believe in me when I don't really even believe in myself? Like so I had kind of just signed up and was just like, I'm just gonna do it. My friends came and that actually made me feel a lot better that my friends came and made me feel a lot less nervous. I wasn't doing it alone. And it inspired them to sign up for the next one. So I kind of did that for me, but I'm happy that it also helped them kind of help get
Mm-hmm.
themselves out too. So yeah,
Okay.
it was May, April 2023, and I kind of just I put my foot on the pedal after that, like on the gas pedal. I just was like, okay, well, I did this, now I got to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. What does performing mean to you now?
What does performing mean to me now? In this part of my life, performing, I don't know. I kind of have gotten a little more anxiety around performing again just because I've stepped out of it a little bit. And so
Mhm.
right now, I feel like performing is also for me to make sure that I'm staying out of my head, making sure that people also know that I'm still an artist. I haven't forgot about poetry. It's just that my focus on somewhere is it's not really to prove a point anymore because I don't have a point to prove. I know I'm a great poet. I know I'm a great
Yeah.
performer. So it's really just for me to performing is really just for me to make sure that I am still putting myself out there. Like and I don't stop putting myself out there.
Mhm. Okay. Circling back into songwriting, um, what led you to like realizing your craftsmanship with the pen was good enough to do songwriting?
At the time it wasn't. I can literally read you like my first song. It was let me see, hold on. It wasn't really anything at the time. I literally had to develop my skill for songwriting. Like for poetry, of course I knew I was good, but like for songwriting, I was very critical of myself, just to say the least. Like I was just like, this is
Mhm.
not it. It just sounds so ABCD, and I didn't like that. I want to be a little more complex. I was like, okay, I gotta work myself up to that. So I had really like challenged myself to at least write in my journal. At the time, it was like once a week. Now it's just like once a month because I'm not too heavy on it
Mhm.
right now. But like once a week. So let me see. Let me see what I feel like. Let me see, because it was just like also I was trying to like I feel like at the time of songwriter I was trying to imitate people and I didn't know my
Mhm.
style. Like I wanted to be like a pop artist at the time when I first started, like pop rock artist. So I loved Olivia Rodrigo. I'm not gonna lie, she was like who inspired me to really pick up songwriting because she made it look so easy. Like she would get on like
Yeah.
on TikTok or whatever, and she would like make up this little song, clap, snap, and then like sing some lyrics with it. And I was like, okay, I like this. Maybe I can do this. But like, let me just read. This is like the first page. As you can see, it have been through the ringer. Like it's four
Oh yeah.
years worth of material in here, including like drawings, like event ideas, and all that. So, and this is our like this is a finished journal. I'm on my second journal now. Okay, this one says. Sometimes you can't read your own handwriting.
Hey,
It says when I get the like when I got an idea and it's like really flowing at me,
mm.
I get the scribbling.
Yeah. Mhm.
So this says I got a bright idea and it ain't no secret. But if I tell you, baby, promise me that you're gonna keep it. Like this is so childish. 1, 2, 3, do re mi. Ooh, you got me singing. Like it was just like so like cat and mouse, and I didn't like that. I
Yeah.
was like, girl, what are you really trying to say? And at the time, I didn't know how to feel a beat out and figure out what the beat was really like making me feel. So I like that was the point where I was just imitating. And I think starting off as an artist, you kind of just imitating anyway because you're kind of
Somewhat.
doing what you
Yeah.
see before you get a chance to really develop your style.
Mhm.
But I have a song. It's a house song. I'm hoping to premiere it at Jackson Pride this year. It is probably the first song that I wrote that I feel like, ooh, I am a good
You can actually.
songwriter. Because I
Yeah.
was sitting in my car one night and I was just listening to the beat. And the first lyrics are red is the color on my lips. Blue is the color on my hips. Green is the color on my eyes. And it's basically like a night at the club where you just feeling yourself. And the title of the song
Mhm.
is Miss Fame. And it's basically just like feeling yourself and just knowing who you are and living in that and just enjoying the moment. And that is like the moment where I feel like I was a songwriter because it was so freaking easy to write. I'm telling you, when I wrote that song, maybe I want to say like an hour. I was just sitting in my car and it was just coming out. It was just coming out. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. And I felt validated. Like I was like, okay, maybe I'm not that
Uh,
bad.
when is well, I don't know if you know the specific time you'll do it, but when is like Jackson Pride this year?
It's September 20. You know what? Don't let me lie. Let me just look at the date. Don't even let me lie to you.
Is it like a weekend thing, or is it like a 4 or 5
Actually, I think
days?
they do it the whole week, but the main
The whole
thing,
week, yeah.
everything is on the weekend.
Mm.
So let me see. This year it's got me, Sade, and Miss Hootie are performing. I don't know if you know DJ KND, DJ Kid Next Door. He's going to be the DJ for
Mm.
the event. So it's like a whole collective, and I love that.
Yeah.
Let me see. Last year they brought some really famous drag queens down here. I didn't get a chance to see them, but I'm hoping they bring some more down here so I can meet them. I'm really excited about that. Actually, I can't find it right now because my brain is everywhere. I can't find it. But if you want me to, I'll send it to you because I know they've been posting the flyers lately, like just to
Yeah.
announce like who's performing and all that. So once I
Mhm.
figure out their page, I just can't think right now. I'll send it to you.
I definitely like that. And I'm sure I probably I'll probably put it in this edit somehow or not. But yeah.
Yes, okay, I can send it to you after we
Yeah.
finish this, just so if you
Mhm.
want to add it in there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was actually in Oxford, was it 2 weeks ago? Um, Seeing one of my friends, but that was my first time attending a Pride event, Oxford Pride. It was like a whole week thing themselves, but that Saturday is where they do their parade throughout the city. It's like a small park coming off of the University of Ole Miss's campus, um, going into like the square, and then like coming back into the campus. And then they have like a whole vendor um, informational type thing that they do on campus too, with a whole bunch of different causes and different local vendors and people who just are allies too. They host different things that they do on campus, and it was really nice. I'm glad I went with that specific friend or whatnot. And so I was like, let me see if I can make it to the one here.
Well, I'm hoping you're
To
able to
see
make it. This will actually be my first year of being in any type of Pride event, and I'm really
it.
excited, to be in there because I am a queer person. And I don't really like to use the
Mm,
term queer because I feel like it's a blanket term, but
mm,
just for politicalness, I'm a queer person.
mm.
I am a queer artist, so
Okay.
it feels very nice to be somewhere where I'm wanted for sure,
Mhm.
and and it's for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely having those spaces, whatever it is, and knowing that you're wanted there, that's really good. Have you always been confident in your personal styling?
Yes and no. I knew I could dress, but sometimes I would look at other people and be like, I wish I had that. Now I will say yes. I'm very confident. I'm not looking at the next person because I feel like people are looking at me at this point and they trying to figure out where she get that from. So
Hmm.
I done got out of the point of not being sure of my style. And even sometimes when I'm not 100% of my outfit, I still wear it because it's something different and it'll make me kind of keep exploring my style. So I feel like if I were to step outside the house feeling 100% all the time, it wouldn't allow me to grow. I feel like it's growth when you're uncomfortable and you're able to sit in that uncomfortableness. So it kind of took time for me to get really, really confident in it just because one, I didn't feel like I always had the means to really craft my style into what I wanted it to be. But now I got to the point of like thrifting and I do a lot of secondhand stuff and all that stuff. And that allows me to have one of the most unique styles ever
Yeah, yeah.
because I'm wearing stuff one that already has a story to it and I don't have to force the story to be told, you know.
Hmm.
So I just have a confidence of knowing that I'm a great storyteller more than anything. Yeah.
What does it mean to you to like help other people style or kind of like be a stylist?
It means a lot to me because I love to see people reach their fullest potential. And if I can help
Mhm.
that, I'm all for that. And I love being in the like the styling process or whether it's the design process or whatever it is. I love being involved in it. And I love seeing people go from here to here. Like I love good transformation because I've been here before and now I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And it takes a lot to get there. And if I can help somebody get there and help them realize I realize that's kind of my purpose of being on earth is to
Mm,
kind of help people realize their fullest potential and also to kind of pour into people. Not that I'm taking anything away from myself, but like I love being uplifting. I think it's and I haven't always been like this. I'm gonna be honest. I have not always been like this, but I realize how much it fills my spirit to just be like a positive and uplifting person
mhm,
and just wanting to see the best out of people. And sometimes I realized I'm opinionated. I'll say that. I'm opinionated. So that kind of goes hand in hand with styling. You got to have an opinion about whether it's your personal style or whether it's the next person's style or just style and
mhm,
trends in general. It's always about having an opinion. And because I'm so opinionated, it kind of just worked itself into styling and wanted to kind of put my insight onto other people and how I see them. Like sometimes I feel like I see people in a way that they don't even see themselves yet.
mm.
So it kind of it's like just wanting to help people reach their biggest potential and It's beautiful, honestly. It's just a beautiful process. It's just, I don't know, it just helped me see myself also as a person, and grow and change and elevate in ways that I didn't think I could. I never want to stay the same forever, but at one point I thought I was just gonna be like this forever, just a person. Now I want to say confrontational, but just a person that was actually very avoided and non-confrontational. Like I'm at a point where I kind of go at things head on and try not to avoid things, because avoiding things, it kind of helps spilling over.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like a lot of people are avoiding their true selves because of
Yeah,
society
yeah.
now. And I would rather people live in their true selves, because that makes one of the most beautiful worlds. And a lot of people are hiding who they are because they don't want to be perceived. And I used to be a person that didn't want to be perceived. Like, I'm like, oh, don't look at me. And I got a nice fit on. I'm like, oh, don't look at me. Girl, what you got the fit on for then?
Oh man.
So yeah, it's just
That's
a
real.
way to kind of also help myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, I think any true thing where it's like you're helping somebody else kind of like recognize themselves, or like it's something that you're doing for others that fills you up, is something that helps you at the end of the day too. And so like that's what it is for me with like the storytelling, things of that nature. Like, yes, you're gonna get a chance to tell your story or just talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. But it's filling me realizing, okay, I'm moving more and more of myself. I'm leveling up my mindset. I'm learning different things. Like it's helping me evolve too. So.
I feel like if you're only doing it for yourself, it's not as fulfilling, unless you're
Mm-hmm.
just a selfish person, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you're only doing it for yourself, it can't be as rewarding as it is for doing it for yourself and others. So I love reaping the benefits of doing it for myself and others, because it just feels way better to my soul, and just it feels healing. And I've been on a healing journey for like the past few years, and just trying to just unlearn a lot of things about myself and that I've been taught as a kid. And that's another reason why I got into poetry, though. It was just like to help myself step into myself. And also, me and my mother didn't have the best relationship, so it was also a way to kind of help fix our relationship by being able to say what I really want to say to her without maybe just being at 10 all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because of the type of relationship we have. So now we can bring it down to a 4 now and have a civil conversation and do all
Yeah.
that now. So
I
it
love
just
that.
everything comes full circle for me. I start one way and I
Mm-hmm.
end another way, but without me starting that way, I wouldn't have ended up this way.
Mm-hmm. Everything is meant for a reason. Like certain things are aligned the way they're supposed to be.
Mm. That's what this journey has definitely taught me, between poetry and fashion. I started with poetry, but I'm kind of dabbling in fashion now. But if I didn't really get started in the poetry, I would have never probably realized my fullest potential with fashion. So I'm grateful for this journey.
What would you say to somebody who kind of wanted to get on? I'm not gonna say styling in a sense, but like maybe they just wanted to improve kind of like their own style sense. Like, what would you say would be the best thing to kind of start with?
I think the best way to start out your personal style is to get a sense of self. When you have a sense of self, you have a sense of style. And if you don't really know who you are as a person, you can't really figure out your style, because one, you might just be looking at too many people and trying to be influenced, which is nothing wrong with looking at people to kind of figure out what you like, because you can see something on somebody and be like, I like that. But until you wear it yourself, you will never know if it's truly for you. So honestly,
Yeah,
I would say start with, if you have to, start with imitating people that you really like in the way that they dress. But if you already kind of have a sense of self, go to the thrift store.
yeah.
Yep. Go to the thrift store, and that'll really push you to the test to know if you really have true style or if you're really just a trendy person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my first tip is develop a sense of self. Once you have a sense of self, go to the thrift store to challenge that sense of self.
You do you have any? Well, this might be spilling. I don't know if you gatekeep.
I never
Do you have
gatekeep.
any?
If you tell me some favorite stores, I want everybody
Yeah.
to have the drip. I need everybody on 10 every time. I'm not a gatekeeper.
Like, what is? I don't know how much you've done outside of Mississippi, but like, what are some of your favorite ones here in the SIP?
It miss I go to a lot of thrift stores. My favorite, like, okay, so this is not a thrift store. This is more of a consignment shop. When I was really like shopping for jewelry, I would go to Repeat Street. It's off Highway 51 in Ridgeland. I would
Mm-hmm.
go there specifically for the jewelry. Now for clothes, I simply go to Goodwill in Ridgeland off of County Line because they have the bins where you can really like dig
Yeah,
through
yeah,
the
yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
you can dig through the stuff and find like, so I done found like a few designer pieces even. Like I collect designer ties. So I done found designer ties in there and stuff like that. And it's just like the digging is the fun part and being like, ooh, what
Mhm.
is that? And I tend to look at everything in there. Like, I don't even care if I think I like it because I can end up liking it. But
Mhm.
I would say Silly Billy's, that's black owned. He used to be right there behind Lowe's in Ridgeland, but now he's off North State Street, kind of down the street from Salvation Army. I kind of started
Okay.
out at Salvation Army too, but I kind of moved away from that just because I don't really go out there anymore. I've been
Mhm.
kind of shopping in the Pearl area. They got like Super Thrift. They got
Yeah, yeah,
what's the name of the? I have it on my page. What is the name of that thrift store? Oh my gosh. Gateway. I went to
yeah.
Gateway and they have like clothes in the front. Like it's a kind of like a big warehouse. They have clothes in the front, clothes and shoes. And then if you go through like these double doors, they have like pianos, CD players, DVDs, VHSs, and all that type of stuff. And then if you go outside, they have where you can really like search through like boxes of stuff. So that is probably
Mhm.
one of my favorite ones too. And that's one of my favorite ones, or that I would recommend to people if they like to dig and search for their clothes. And
Yeah.
I actually shop online secondhand too. I don't really do like Fashion Nova or whatever, Rule 21 and Forever. I will go in Forever 21 like the store, but I wouldn't order off the page. I mean order off the
Mhm.
website. But I shop on Poshmark. I just started on Depop. I just got grilled. But Poshmark was one of the main ones where I would shop to really find like unique pieces. Like
Mhm.
you know what? While we on this, I don't know if you know. Like I just opened this last night. I'm gonna post a video of like a blind reaction, but I've been searching for this dress. It's called it's called an Hervé Leger dress. And it was like this popular dress that like celebrities would wear it in like the 2000s, or from the I would say from the 90s to like the 2010s. And it
Mhm.
was basically like the dress they would either wear like out to dinner, cocktail hour, or like red carpet or whatever. When fashion was a little more simpler on the red carpet, you could get
Yeah.
away with wearing certain stuff. But it's
Yeah.
this dress here, and it's a bandage dress. It's very iconic,
Ooh.
like
Mm.
iconic. Like this is gonna fit so well. And I also would recommend people invest in your pieces. Like seriously, I have pieces that I've had since like high school. And probably even
Mhm.
stuff from middle school, just because I get really sentimental about certain stuff. I'm not a hoarder by any means, or I don't support like over consumerism and all that. I give away stuff every
Mhm.
season. I'm going through my closet and
Yeah.
figuring out, well, I
Yeah.
don't wear this
Me
anymore, so
too.
what is here for?
Yeah.
So, like, I would recommend investing in your pieces, and shopping secondhand is just really one way that you can invest in your pieces. So, like I said, Poshmark, Depop, Goodwill, Salvation Army, Silly Billy's. It's so many avenues and places that you can go to really, if you wanted to, like, you have to want to also to really
Mhm.
elevate and create your personal style. I don't really, I don't go to the mall and shop anymore unless I'm maybe looking for shoes. And even then, I don't go to the mall. Even I go to Plato's a lot now because you can find
Mm.
like some really cute shoes in there. And that's a thrift store, but it's kind of like a higher end thrift store.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like I also wanted to, actually find the stuff because I just feel like people have such a laziness about fashion now that they want it quick, they want it easy, they want it cheap. And I'm just like, well, it's not gonna last.
Mhm.
It's just like everybody wants that. I'm not the person to go out and find an outfit for every event. I'm going to try to create what I already from something I already have. I'm trying to reinvent and repurpose. That's the whole point of fashion: reinvention and repurposing. And I think people have
Mhm.
lost sight of that because of like websites like Sheen and what Temu and even
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazon. Like I just feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people just lost like the authenticity of it all, and it's just I think people are lost cause at this point. I'm sorry. Like I think the people that get it, and I think the people that
Mhm.
don't will never.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you want to elevate your style, you will. So start at the thrift store. Don't feel like you gotta buy the most expensive pieces because it's never about the price tag. It's about how you style and how you wear it. It's about the
Mhm.
confidence you give the piece.
Definitely taking notes of that for myself too. Uh, so I know you love Jackson and Mississippi in general. What do you think, or why do you think it's so important for creatives to express that love for their community?
I want to say for Mississippi and Jackson in general, it's important because we get erased so often. And people tend to forget that this is the birthplace of literally everything. If I'm gonna be honest,
Everything.
it's literally is like, it's just that. And I think it's very important to show where you come from, to also just give people an insight on if they already have a preconceived notion of what Mississippi or what Jackson is, because 9 times out of 10 it's already a negative connotation when people bring up Mississippi and Jackson, when
Yeah.
it's just like that's all they show and that's not all that's here. And I think in 2023, when I want to say the Groove Collective in specific was part of like the art renaissance, and that made me realize that we have so much potential here, because in my opinion, the art scene has been really controlled by like the older crowd and all that. And I didn't really feel like younger people truly had a place to express themselves. So I also think that's why it's important to let people know where you come from, to know that we do have these same things that the next big state might have. Even though it might be on a smaller scale, it's still just as important and just as impactful. Like is and I think people skip over us a lot, but like it's so much creativity that's born and bred here, and so much that influences other people in other parts of the world, that people love to take away from that. And I think it's important that we continue to express where we come from, so people can stop taking away from us at the end of the day. Like, and
That's
I
a
wear
part of the
Jackson and
essence.
Mississippi on my back. I say I'm very proud to be from here. I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else.
Amen to that. This is part of the essence of this podcast too. With the rebranding, I was like, how can I have people learn more about like various careers and like professions and things of that nature, but also like the people in the thick of things, like the day-to-day people who actually affect things here in Mississippi, here in Jackson, like the local area, to actually show you a lot more of that positive angle, of the angle that's actually connecting with the youth or people who connecting with the older generation, to make sure that they're still up and kicking and things of that nature. And I was like, this is a perfect platform to do it. I know everybody's not going to necessarily want to be comfortable with talking, but like the ones who do, pushing that out to the world is exactly what I want to do with this.
It's so necessary for all of us, even people who aren't creatives, to kind of continue to put
Yeah.
Mississippi on the map. And anyways, from art, from whatever, like engineering and anything of that nature, even like just blue collar work, like that's so
Yeah.
important. Like everybody deserves their chance to shine, and Mississippi is like the place where I don't feel like people get their truly chance to shine. Even when people do concerts, they skip over Mississippi, and it's just like you have
All
a
the time.
market here. Like people will buy the tickets.
Literally.
I don't want to have
out.
to go to New Orleans,
Like,
Atlanta, and Texas and Tennessee every time I want to go see somebody. Sometimes I want to stay at home. And I think it's also as a bigger artist, it's your diligence to come here also.
Yeah.
Like that's your responsibility too. And I think the people who like, I guess like the touring managers and stuff like that, or whoever who runs it, they don't see the market. They don't see the marketability of Mississippi and Jackson in specific. But I can't force people to open their eyes. Like I said, this is something that you have to want to do. And I just feel like it's easier for people to not do it. And a lot of people would rather take the easier route. And I'm gonna do the hard work. I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm gonna continue to do the hard work.
We could talk about that by itself for a whole hour. Oh man. But moving on, you're the vice president for the Groove Collective.
That I am.
How's it been working with that group and being able to put on different events and collaborations for Mississippi? It's been over 2 years now. Yeah.
I want to say it's been a year since we had over a little year since we had our first event. We did get established in 2023 though. But I want to say it's challenging, it's fun, it's rewarding, it's a family. It's helped me build family. It's helped me become a little bit more extroverted. Because I'm a true introvert. Like I love my space. I love being alone. But being around the group collective and doing these events, it allowed me to kind of be more confident in like showing a different side of myself and being more vocal and just being more active in the community. And doing these events is unbelievable because I couldn't see myself doing this. Like I never thought I would be like an event planner and doing it, or a host at that, like a host. Me? So it's just like it's been so fun to be able to do things that I never thought I would do before, because I'm not gonna say I didn't have big dreams, but I wasn't a big dreamer. I was just a simple person. I used to really want to be a doctor. Like seriously, I want to
Hmm.
live just a regular old life. I want to be a neurosurgeon, but
Oh, wow.
I don't have the steadiest hands. And so I kind of realized you're an artist. You're meant to be an
Yeah.
artist. So being in the group collective, it helped me kind of also just be okay with being an artist and stepping into that
Hmm.
and knowing like this is what I'm supposed to do. And it's brought so many new people into my life and allowed me to get closer to my best friend. Now that we're business partners, it allowed us to kind of
Hmm.
have a different aspect in our relationship. And don't get me wrong, we definitely had our ups and downs when it started off this business side. I'm not gonna lie, it made me want to step out a little bit because I realized how it was changing our friendship. But with like open conversation and the healthy conversations and like that kind of nipped that in the bud. Like we realized
Hmm.
like this doesn't have to change our relationship. We just have to constantly be able to acknowledge each other's feelings and be open to the conversation. So this is also has helped me become a better at expressing myself and being okay with not every idea that I have not getting taken, because I'm full of ideas. So I would kind of get discouraged when the ideas I was getting were kind of getting shut down. So it kind of made me be okay with rejection too. And I have a piece on there like rejection is mass redirection. you know Everything is not going to be what you want it to be at the time that you want to be it. It's not the time for
Hmm.
that, it's not the place for that, but it'll come.
Hmm.
I'm just a lot
I would
wiser
say.
also just being in this group, I would say.
I want to say Sade spoke to similar sentiments when I asked her about it. When she was saying that just kind of that interpersonal relationship with you, and like how the friendship side got a little blurred, but like how you said having those healthy conversations, y'all were able to get past that. And yeah, like you said, y'all are closer now. Um, Everything is a lot more clear. It's a lot more black and white in that sense.
We don't have
Yeah.
to be scared to express ourselves, because I think that was one thing. Sometimes we were scared to step on each other's toes.
Mm.
And so we had to be okay with also just doing that and then learning
Hmm.
how to get past that. So I wouldn't I wouldn't be nothing without the groove, honestly. I feel like they helped me realize who I am as an artist.
That's real. That's definitely real. The open mic scene and live stage show in Jackson and the surrounding areas has been booming in the last few years. Uh, what do you think is the reason for all these different venues giving people a chance to like show up and display their talent?
Positive and negative. I'm gonna start with the positive. No, I'm gonna start with the negative so we can get into the positive. I think sometimes it's just to play. It's just sometimes people are here to just make money and they don't realize sometimes why they're
Mhm.
doing it. And they see a lot of other people doing it. So they're like, let me do it, bring some people in. But also, I don't think they understand what kind of like time and dedication goes into
Mhm.
planning these events. And if you don't have that time and dedication, it's not going to be a successful event, or even like a fully realized event, because you didn't actually care from the start. I would say that
Mhm.
is the negative reason. But positive, I would say, because everybody's looking for community at this point. I feel
Yeah.
like at these point in our life, everybody's looking for community and a place to kind of fit in and feel like they belong, and also just to feel safe. And I think that's really the main reason why a lot of people are opening up these places. Excuse me, because it's a lot of different walk people that come from different walks of life. So every open mic is not going to be catered to the same
Nope.
crowd. But I'm hoping the purpose of these open mics is to expand on these crowds and also mix them together to create
Mm.
something new, something revolutionary. And I think I want to say that's why people do it. I can't speak because I don't necessarily do open mics. That's not something we really even do anymore. Sade does host open mics. That's something
Mhm.
she does.
Mhm.
And that was just also to discover new talent, because I feel like
Yeah.
one thing we were doing was reusing the same talent over and over. And we were just like,
Mhm.
where are the new people at?
Yeah.
We're
Exactly.
gonna discover somebody else. So the main thing was just to bring people on and get them exposed to different crowds.
I would say for sure, for me, paying more attention, I think that's helped me find more artists here locally. Um, because we can all get lost into the mainstream theme or like picking up on new artists outside of Mississippi. But like a lot of people are doing it here, whether it's just a hobby or it's like something they do on the side or whatever. And then the folks who are trying to pursue it as a career, like a lot of it gets lost. And so the fact that we have some of these, and some of them do get a chance to get recognized and stuff like that, that's helped me learn a lot more about a lot of people out here.
It's really important to build up the people in your community, because without the community, nobody's anything. You're not doing
Yeah.
anything solely alone. Whether people say, "Oh, I did this all this by myself," you actually did it. It was people there helping you along the way, and whether you want to acknowledge them, is definitely your prerogative. But like, nobody does anything alone. Like, we didn't even come into the world alone. So it's just like, to think that you can do anything alone is really, it's not a good mindset to me, because I feel like I used to feel like I needed to do everything on my own, and then I realized how lonely that actually feels.
Yeah.
And just how how it feels like it's always like a storm cloud over your life, because you feel like you have to do everything alone. So in a way, you kind of feel like maybe everybody is against me. You started getting this mindset that everybody is against me, and now I got to do this stuff on my own, when everybody is not against you. Like, get out your head. Get out your head. And if you can't see the potential of the people around you, then sometimes you can't see the potential in yourself. And like I said, it's our responsibility to do these things, whether we realize that or not. Like, this is what we were put here for, to lift everybody up,
Mm-hmm.
especially the people in our community, because we wouldn't have like Akeem Ali, we wouldn't have these type of people, we wouldn't have Akeem Ali, we wouldn't have Dear Silas, we wouldn't have David Banner, and even artists like Brandy, even though they don't want to rep that they come from Mississippi. Brandy, Britney Spears, like Oprah, she don't care. Like, people like that, they don't care that they come from these places, and they automatically, Soulja Boy, they automatically erase these parts of their life because they feel like Mississippi is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so unfair to us as Mississippi people, because we are something. We're really everything. We are the creation, the creators. So it's very disrespectful to our legacy when they don't.
You mentioned that, and that was something that I was struggling with for a long time. I don't know when I first realized it, but like it was big in high school. I was like, why don't they ever talk about them living here, being born here, stuff like that? Why they don't ever come back? Like, I hardly ever see anything, hardly ever hear anybody talk about them doing certain events here, whether it be Jackson specifically or like other small towns and counties that they're from. And it's like, what's the thing with that? But at one point, I had to be like, all right, those who don't, they're not going to do that. But those who do, those are people that I got to focus in a little bit more. And then, like, for me personally, I got to do a better job of making sure that I'm connected so that way I can show everybody what's actually happening here and give everybody the flowers that they need to be given to.
Exactly. See, everybody doesn't have that mindset though. But one person I will say that does come back is Morgan Freeman. Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you,
yeah,
yeah, I always catch like little videos of him down in the Delta, and I'm like, that's a man that loves where he comes from. Like, I respect that so much, and I wish more people would put us on the map,
yeah.
because if I were ever to get big, I would be screaming Mississippi to the top of Jackson, Mississippi. I'm from Jackson, Mississippi.
They be sick of me. They
Like,
be sick.
I'm not ashamed of where I come from. Like, I was born here for a reason. Like, that's how I see it. Like, I was definitely born here for a reason. I feel like I wouldn't be the person that I am if I wasn't born here.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally. All right, moving kind of to this last segment here. Just a few more questions.
Not to interrupt you, this has been a really, really good interview. Like, amazing.
Thank you. Every time somebody says that, I always get in my head about it, even though I'm better now with not doing it. But it's like, it just kind of like reassures me that, I'm still growing, still evolving, getting better every time with it.
You have really good questions. It helps me also think about things about myself that I probably don't think about often, and it helps me just look back a little bit. And I love doing these type of interviews where I'm able to reflect on my journey and who I am and who I was.
I love getting people who this is like their first time doing something like this. Cause like you just said, it makes them think. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want. Like, to me, those are the best conversations when people are like thinking and have to like reflect a little bit, like, wait a minute, how did I feel about this? Or how do I want to
Yeah.
say this? Like, that's what drives me.
Yes, and I'm always just trying to keep my mind going, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
this is very stimulating for me just to be able to just talk, honestly, whether it's about myself or whether it's about some I love talking about myself, by the way. But like
Every even the most humblest person in the world, they like talking about themselves. Like,
so I love an opportunity also just to share myself a little bit more for people who
mm-hmm.
don't necessarily may see me, but they don't know me as a person. They can
Mm-hmm.
kind of get to know me through this type of avenue and this type of like media and stuff. Even though I do
Yeah.
share a lot about myself on my page. Like if you just go look at my page, I feel like you can kind of figure out who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me three of your favorite Mississippi music artists.
Three. Ooh, don't do this to me. Three of my favorite Mississippi artists. I would have to say Miss Hootie.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is killer. Like I wouldn't even put her in a category of what type of artist she is because she's so
She's
experimental.
yeah.
Like she just has a wide range. And she does a lot of things herself, like writing, producing,
Mm-hmm.
engineering, mixing and
Mm-hmm.
like she does a lot of that. That's what she went to school for. Like she does a lot of that herself. So to be able to do it herself and do it at that level, that is so inspiring. Like, oh my gosh. But I would say Miss Hootie. I would say Vitamin C. I really love her. And I would say I would honestly say the downbeat. I know they don't
Mm-hmm.
perform as
Yeah.
much anymore, but like when I would go to I'm going to say concerts. When I would go to their concerts, I would leave feeling so full and it's like so
Mm-hmm.
energetic because you can tell like they put a lot of that into, they put a
Yeah.
lot of themselves
Yeah.
into their music and into their performance. And I really respect and love artists that do that and are able to do that because some people are able to just keep it surface level, but some people are actually
Mm-hmm.
able to show you who they are through their music and their craft. So I feel like
Yeah.
those three artists, well, those two artists and then that group actually do that very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The first time I heard of them and saw them live was one of y'all's events
Oh, the
last
mixer.
summer. Yeah. Because that was the first time I went to y'all's events too,
Yes.
and I was like, "Who's the Downbeat crew?" And then when they got up there, I was like, oh, "Okay, I feel it. Like I see exactly what y'all are trying to do here." And like you said, they don't perform as much now, but I'm like, man, if they ever like figure out time to just dedicate themselves to performing, like they're really gonna spread across the whole state for real.
Have you got a chance to listen to their album?
I did. This was like 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yes. I thought their album was so phenomenal.
Oh my
Like, oh
gosh.
my gosh. I was obsessed with it. Like when it came out, I was like, oh my gosh. Like Mississippi artists, like we need them. We need the
Uh,
spotlight on them. Because we have so many. Like that just deserve the spotlight. And I feel like as Mississippi artists, we do gotta work like 10 times harder.
mhm.
So
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
I would also
For
say
sure.
Ariel J, not to leave her off because at one point, like her album Play to Win, I was playing that on repeat for like a month straight because that album was so good. It was a no skip album. She just
Oh yeah,
has this
it
beautiful
definitely is.
tone. She's an amazing songwriter, and she works with
Hmm.
Samurai Ryan. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he's an artist. He's actually coming out with more of his art now, which I love to see. But he would produce some of the songs for her, and I just it was just a beautiful collaboration that you could tell it was so Mississippi. It was so like
Hmm.
her, and I love that. Yes.
Uh,
Oh, wait, do you have any?
ooh. Um, actually, funny because I've been discovering a lot more over the last year to 2 years. Um, I would say one of my guys, Kaya Moore.
Oh yes, I left out Toshiki Kai.
Yeah. I I know kind of like all that younger guys
Yeah.
because of school, but then also because my one of my sisters because she graduated with some of them, and
Hmm.
then she knows a few bit other ones. I would say him for sure. Uh, I'm not trying to butcher any names because I hate doing that. Uh, I would say Big Crit for sure.
Yeah. See, I haven't got into
I
Big
remember.
Crit. I kind of feel like I'm not a true Mississippian.
I remember the first time I heard something from him, and I was like, "It's just something so raw about this, so intentional." I was like, "One day I'm gonna meet him, and I'm gonna really get into the weeds of like how he started."
Yeah.
Like, um,
This doesn't
One thing
happen.
he does though, I
No, go ahead.
don't like it in a sense. He always claims himself as a country dude, or like talks about Meridian in a country sense.
Yeah.
And like I haven't lived in Meridian, but no, like, and it's like to me, he's pushing that narrative in a sense, and it's okay because I mean he's from there or from the area, but like to me, there's jewels in Meridian too, and so like I'd rather hear that, but he talks about a lot of different things, so, but it's Mississippi in itself.
Yeah, I feel like as long as you repping Mississippi, I can't be mad at you.
Yeah,
I can't. But I want to see where you going to the Sinners screening in Clarksdale.
I want to go, but I'm pretty sure when they're showing the movies a Thursday.
They're doing it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay, so they're gonna show it all 3 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Thursday is the day that the cast and the crew are going to be there.
Yeah, that they're gonna be there. I'm not gonna be able to make it Thursday because of work, and so if I do go, it'll just be me just coming to experience Clarksdale and just to see the screen again. But I would love to be there Thursday.
I do plan on going Thursday. I'm kind of excited about it. Yes.
Oh man, I know Clarksdale is gonna be packed.
Yes, I plan on getting down there at 9. Even though I feel like that's not even early enough.
Probably. I mean, it's good for the town, but it's gonna take them a few days to recover afterwards.
Definitely.
How many like conferences just gonna come?
Yeah, especially if people are trying to like stay down there. What about like hotels and stuff like that?
There's some of them are probably going to stay in like Greenwood and Cleveland and like some of these other places that's an hour, 30 minutes away, because I don't even know if Clarksdale can hold
Definitely not
more than 200, 300 people.
I'm happy that they got a screening, but I definitely think a screening should have been on their agenda in the first place, because how can you base something in a town like that and not pay your respect by actually visiting that town? I think that goes into like building Mississippi up. Yes, you can do a movie based around Mississippi, but also coming in and showing that beauty and also experience it firsthand is very vital and important.
If it was me, I love Ryan Coogler. I love everything he's done. I love a lot of other people that was on that team, production and everything like that. But if it was me, that's that last element of the deep dive that he did and the research they did. That's be like, okay, as soon as we launch that following weekend, all right, we have a screening here in 3 different places in Mississippi. We have screenings here, like 3 or 4 different places in Louisiana. We have a screening here in 3 or 4 different places in Alabama, because like that's where the rawness of the movie is.
Literally.
And the base for a lot of the stuff that he does comes from the South. Especially with how he speaks about some of the inspiration from it being his uncle who used to live here and everything like that. And so it's good that they have it and we were able to push that movement, but
I feel like that should have been a forethought. Like yeah.
Have that thought initially.
Yeah. But you know, at least it's happening. That's what I can say. At least it's happening. You still over there looking at artists?
Favorites is kind of weird because I love a little bit of everybody. That's why if somebody asked me my favorite artist, I can't even choose one. It's Michael Jackson and Chris Brown, because that's like my initial introduction of music. But just to say another person, because I really tapped into her when she came to Vibe Studio and had her performance, was Ali Deer.
Oh, I love her.
Because I had heard her before. And so hearing her live and there and feeling that energy and then listening to some of her songs that she's released, I was like, okay, yeah. Like if she put just a few more hours into it, like, man, she'd be so much more on another level. Yeah. And I know she loves the art, but I know it's not a forefront for her. But yeah.
She definitely has like a healing element to her
Oh
music.
yeah.
Like when I was there listening to her, I was already going through a hard time, so that made me feel very very seen and know that everything was gonna be all right. And that was actually my
Yeah.
first time seeing her perform because I think she was the spotlight artist at the first Verbal Versus, but I didn't get a chance to see her perform that night. So I was happy that I was able to catch her again.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she has like an R&B, but also like Christian element to her, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but as favorite artist in general, Beyonce is mine. Even though
Okay.
I don't listen to her as much, but I respect her craft. I respect
Mm-hmm.
her knowledge about her craft, and I respect like how she is very involved in like
Oh
the
yeah.
process of everything. And I think as an artist, you have to be involved in your process. You can't let everybody make the decisions for you because you kind of lose yourself. Like, is this really you if everybody else is making the decision for you? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's probably. But I'm really a Doechii fan right now. Like I love everything about her. I've been. What you got
Yeah,
to
she is
say?
probably one of my favorites right now.
Yeah,
Like I love everything she does. Like her whenever a song of hers plays on my Spotify or if I just pull up on YouTube or something, I'm like, man, like I just love what she's doing for real.
definitely. And the fact that she's been doing this for so long, I think a lot of people
Yeah.
forget that it doesn't happen overnight. It may look like it
Mm-hmm.
happens overnight, but a lot of these artists that you see, if they're not going viral off they one moment, a lot of these
Yeah.
artists that you see have been doing this for years. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what a lot of artists should take away from her journey in specific. Is like this happened, one, because she said it was gonna happen, but two, because she put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't happen when you don't put the work in,
Especially
unless you got the machine backing you. But
well,
that's a different
yeah.
story. That's a different.
Like another good example is like Money Long. Like
Yes, start off
she
the
was trying
specific
to
her
get
name.
her tilt for a long time, but she dug into songwriting and still been in that space and grinding and grinding and grinding. And now she's been on the big stage for like the last 4 or 5 years or whatnot. So
Literally, and
it takes time.
she had to grind it out as a songwriter,
Mm-hmm.
and she was
Mm-hmm.
promised, like I watched a little video on her, she was promised a song career, but like it was like they
Yep.
would throw her on the back burner. It was like, now you work better as a songwriter, and that
Mm-hmm.
has happened to her. That's happened to Carrie Hilson. That's
Yep.
happened
Yep. Yep.
kind of
Yep.
to Victoria Monet as well. Like she
Mm-hmm.
had to really grind
They
it out as
did.
a
Oh
songwriter
yeah.
before she was able to be accepted as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
And it also comes with having connections. And I feel like one reason that Money Long was able to persevere so long was not only because of her talent, but because of the connection she already had to the music industry and how she
Yep.
has showed, like, I'm really bred and built for this. Like, this is what I want to do, and
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm supposed to do. And that's what all three
Mm-hmm.
of those artists, though, Victoria, Money Long, and I'm not gonna say the same for Carrie Hilson because she didn't have the most promising career, but whatever.
She's come back though. She
Yeah,
stepped back full circle into the music. And I heard the last album that came out last weekend, I think it was. It was
yeah.
really good.
Okay,
So I'm glad to see her getting back into everything. Yeah.
definitely.
So this should be the last question.
Okay,
It kind of trips up everybody, so I try to read it slowly.
here.
Uh, if you owned a library, what kind of library would it be? A music library, a regular book library, or a movie/TV show library?
Mine would definitely be a music library. I'm gonna move over a little bit. That is my CD collection right there.
Ooh.
Yes, and then my vinyl collection is right here. You can't really see because it comes out. You can't really see it,
Mm-hmm.
but like my vinyl collection is literally right there. And I love collecting like physical media, especially music, just because that needs to be preserved. Because all this stuff can be easily wiped away. They decide they want to stop streaming, they taking that away from us like that. And so I need to be able to hear some of the songs that I love. So I got into
Yeah.
like collecting physical media because I think they really deserve that. So yeah, I would
Mm-hmm.
have a CD/vinyl, or I even have a little cassette tape collection going on too. Like I would
Okay,
have all of
cassettes.
that. Literally, I found the 8-track for Off the Wall. I think that was my first like cassette that I found. So yeah, I really believe in preserving physical media because
Mm-hmm.
they're really we're going into, I feel like, in the censorship way, and where they're banning a lot of things. And so
Yeah.
those things that they are banning deserve to be remembered and
Mm-hmm.
upheld. And if we don't, then it'll be gone forever.
I actually just started my vinyl collection.
What's your first
I
vinyl?
bought two vinyls. It was a Black Eyed Peas one,
Which one?
like their second album. I do not want to get the
I'm
name.
kind of a Black Eyed Peas fan. I would love to dive more into their music.
I love them. That's probably the first group that I could recognize and like learn their songs.
Yeah.
That I just loved throughout all their iterations of them.
Yeah.
Behind the Front, I want to say that is their second album because I think.
Can you show the album cover?
I don't know if you can. You'll be able to see it for real, But
oh, that's before they got Fergie, right?
Yeah. I think because the first one, I had to go to my Spotify.
I had watched a video on them. They went through like 3 or maybe 4 different female artists before they settled on Fergie.
No, but that was one of the vinyls I got, and then Full Crate. He's a DJ. I don't know if you've heard anything from him.
I don't think I have. Maybe you should send me something.
A kid from Yerevan. I don't know if it'll show up real on here because of the light, probably. I'll probably have to just send it to you personally.
Yeah, send it to me.
Funny enough, I heard a snippet of one of his songs on an Instagram post, and then I looked him up, and I was like, "Who is this? I gotta listen to him." And then when I was in Miami last year for a jazz festival, I met somebody, and then they were talking about Selection Radio. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I know they're really big on Apple, and then Apple Music, and then SoundCloud too. Even though you can hear their stuff on Spotify, but they have live recordings of their stuff on YouTube as well. And so I saw one of their posts on YouTube with that specific DJ, and so I listened to that, and now I'm like a huge fan of his. But those are my first two vinyls that I got.
Do you listen to a lot of instrumentals?
There was a point in time where I really did.
Yeah.
Like I was in the deep of it in high school when I was still in band, because I guess that was part of the thing in a sense. It was just easier then. I don't know if I necessarily listen to that many of them now, though.
I kind of find myself listening to them more often, especially when I want a clear mind. All the words kind of just get in my mind a lot, and I'd rather kind of slow down a little bit and listen to a lot. Like I listen to a lot of jazz. I had that Apple Music has this playlist. It's called Beastrumentals, and it's just like kind of like lo-fi beats, R&B, kind of mixed with hip hop, kind of. And it's perfect. Like when I'm getting ready, or like I just want to chill out outside or whatever. And I've kind of moved away, not all the way from listening to just regular music, but I do find myself wanting to listen to just instrumentals now, like 8 minutes worth of just beats, instruments. I love that.
Yeah. That's jazz specifically. Like when my dad introduced me to jazz, I fell in love instantly, and that's something that's always been zen for me. Like if I'm feeling bad or something like that, like I can always pray. I can always try to isolate myself. But then there's a moment where it's like, all right, I got to turn on some jazz to like just solidify everything. So.
Yeah, I found that jazz also helps me write a lot easier and better. Just listening to it, and just it helps me spill a lot more too. Like when I'm just trying to get everything out and figure out how I'm feeling for the time being, it just helps me freestyle. I do a lot of freestyle poetry. Like when I'm just chilling, I'll freestyle a poem over some jazz beats or whatever, and like the truth really does come out. I can't wait to be able to share those parts of myself. I'm still kind of on like the fence about sharing that part of myself, because I guess I'm still kind of scared of being perceived on that part.
Yeah, I don't think we can ever truly get over that. Since just why I've never shared anything of me singing or any of my music or songwriting yet.
You were in choir.
For me to love public speaking, and I love it. There was a point in time where I wanted to be a motivational speaker. Like I was like, that's what I was gonna do for real. But then I changed my mindset because I didn't want to be boxed in that sense. But I still like to do it. But like for as much as I love that, when it comes to being on stage singing, by myself or as a solo, it just scares me so much. I don't know what it is. Like I do not like hearing my voice singing, but it's fine with me talking.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm kind of the opposite. Like I can hear I love to sing and I love to hear myself sing. But like when I hear myself talk, I'm like,
uh,
anyway. So anyway, so because like if I'm listening, like I don't even go back and watch my performances just because I don't want to hear myself.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I'm trying to get out of that. Like I really am. Like because I need to improve, and if I'm not watching what
Hmm.
I just did, I can't improve. But like I don't like to hear myself sing on a mic. But like if I'm just singing like out loud, I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying.
My plan though, this year is to sing my first legit solo at church, and then one of these open mics probably
You
will
know what I
be
think could help you?
what's that?
Going to karaoke.
So I've done it when I went to Houston last year. It was decent. I didn't like that. I wanted a different song than the one I have, but it was okay. But it actually did relieve a little bit of that.
Yeah. I learned that like going and doing karaoke and sometimes sounding terrible is really fun and free. Like that's probably like my favorite part about karaoke, getting up there, cracking on notes, barely knowing the words.
Yeah,
But it
yeah,
be the energy of the crowd that really brings
yeah,
me in and just allows me to be a little more free. So I think that might help you a little bit more with just like losing, I guess maybe the fear or like the nervousness about being perceived. Because once you get up there and like do your absolute worst, it's like, okay, now I can do my absolute best.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that time I did do it, it wasn't so so. It was super late too. It was like 1 a.m. So
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna sound that bad anyway. Uh,
Yeah. But yeah,
uh,
it's a club down here. We go. Me and my friends. We literally just went yesterday. It's called Shade. It is a gay club, but I don't really think that matters because
no,
it's open to everybody. But they do karaoke night every Friday religiously, and it's probably one of the most fun experiences of my life.
I'm gonna have to start by.
Seriously, if you just like anytime me and my friends bring somebody that's never been before, they have the best time. Like every time.
I'm definitely
So
gonna start
it's
by.
just so much love in the air. That's what it is.
I might be. I'm gonna have to do that, and then after that, I probably will be more comfortable. So I'm
Yeah,
definitely gonna take you up on that advice.
definitely. Let me know whenever you're free. We can go. I'm telling you.
I definitely will, for sure.
Yes.
Um, but trying to think because I think those are in my questions.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Now that you've gotten through these podcasts and stuff, where do you see this going?
Only a few people have asked me about this. I think only one person asked me about it on the podcast. But it's kind of twofold. A part of me wants this to be the biggest thing out there, selfishly, because that's just always how I thought. I've always thought big as a kid. I was like, I know I'm gonna get to this level. I know everybody's gonna see it. I know it's gonna be impactful, things of that nature. And so I want it to be as big as it can be as big as it will be. There's not like a cap on it for me or whatnot. But then the other part of it that I try to sink into more on a daily basis, I want this to reach the people that it's supposed to reach. Because, like I said, the essence of this is rooted in displaying the different aspects of people in various disciplines and careers and stuff like that. And so, the more people that I can talk to who aren't the typical entertainers and then the typical like athletes and things of that nature, I feel like the more people I'll be able to reach intentionally and be able to impact them on whatever level. If it's literally just helping somebody learn that they can move from trying to pressure themselves so much to be an artist to like getting into songwriting or producing or something like that, or if it's something for somebody their professional aspirations of like a sports career is done, but they can move into doing something else that they feel like is still very intentional with their time and like stuff like that. For me, is where I want this to go. And so, for as big as that can go, grassroots wise, whether it's just Mississippi or Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana type of thing, like that's where I want it to go.
Yes. Well, I like to say that I think you're doing a great job just from my point of view. And I think you are definitely headed in the right direction of this being something bigger than you and bigger, even bigger than the people that you brought on here. It definitely has the potential to go global, worldwide, international, whatever you want it to be. Because one, you're very insightful and it shows that you care about the people and like what they're talking about when you bring them on here. And I think that's very important in the time and age that we live in, just because people don't really want to do the research and actually learn about people for real. So I think you're headed off to an amazing start, and I hope that it goes to where you want it to go.
Thank you, thank you. I
Yes, and I
definitely.
just have one more question.
I know you're good. Ask away.
Okay, look, I don't turn it to the interview. One thing I love doing interviews, like I love interviewing people. So, where does the name Mortifying mean to you, and like where did it come from, and how did you develop it?
Mortifying to me means that it opens up more of people from that surface level. And so, if I'll talk about me personally. If any random person was to like stop me in the middle of the street or somewhere, and they ask me like, "What do I do for a living or whatnot like that?" The first thing I'll probably say is an engineer, because I mean that is what my 9 to 5 is at the moment until I get a chance to break away from that and be full time in this aspect of being a creative. But for me though, a lot of people they kind of only know me for that sense of like being an engineer or whatever I might be personified as through my social media. But it's like I have this going on. My love for music is really big. I can sing, I can play an instrument, things of that nature. I love being able to learn about people and things like that. So I love research in that aspect too. I'm a huge sports fan or whatnot, but like there's multiple layers that compass me and who I am. And so I know that talking to other people, there's multiple things that make them who they are too. And so like more defined for me is being able to break up that like surface level feel that a lot of people have about themselves or that they present and being able to display a lot of those other layers about themselves.
Yes, I love that. I love that. With you being like a singer and being able to play instruments and having the love for all these things, did you ever really see yourself as a creative and an artist, or is that something that you just start to realize about yourself?
Artist wise, because there's a point in time where I wanted to be a huge music artist too.
Hmm.
I think there's a part of me that still wants to do that. I just kind of fight it, like how we were talking about a little bit earlier. I just kind of fight that part of it, even though I do like songwriting. I haven't spent a lot of time doing it lately, but I have written. I've probably written 20 songs. Um, since I'm trying to get back more into that, but the artist thing, I've kind of like thrown that thought out of my head. But being a creative, that is something that I've come to in the last year for sure. Um, because after I started back with this podcast and then I interviewed Alexis and then I got on with her at Live Studio, that's when I started to take my videography serious too. And so I was like, wait a minute, like I can't necessarily label myself as like one thing now because I have a lot of different interests and I want to get into a lot of different things with that. And so like that's why I would label myself as like a creative storyteller in that sense.
Yes. Can you talk about like getting connected with Alexis and how that has like influenced and impacted your artistry and creativity?
So the first time I got even into that world was going to one I think it was the second to last mashup that happened. It was in October of 2023. And that was my first one going to it. And I had been hearing about it, seeing people post about it for a good while at that point. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to one of these. And so I ended up going to that one. I loved everything about it. All the people who were there, the panel, the artists. I know I'm gonna say his name wrong, but Samuel, I can't pronounce his name right. He was one of the main artists. It was another lady who performed with Tougaloo, one of Tougaloo's choirs. It was really good and everything like that. And then just seeing the artists and everything that was there from graphic design, visual artistry, and then just the simple painting too and everything like that. I was like, yeah, like I gotta be more tapped into this. And then after that, I knew once I got back to my podcast, I got to interview Alexis. And so I was really nervous to interview her. I don't know if I mentioned that on that specific episode, but I know I mentioned it in the other ones, and then I mentioned it to her personally after the fact. But I was really nervous because I'm one of those people, even in high school, even though talking to you might be a little different because I don't know how you looked at me in high school, but it was like I always felt like I wasn't I didn't necessarily fit in a certain space, but like I was good with a lot of different people. And so like if anybody asks me like, do you know that person? Do you know that person? I'd be like, yeah, I do. I might not have a strong relationship with a lot of different people because I did have my core friends, but it's like I was cool with a lot of different circles. But even with that, some of those circles, I was like, some of those people are like above me in a sense. It was a bad mindset, but it
But
was
it's
kind of
honest. It's
like
true.
that. I mean, yeah. And then finding myself more into this creator space and then figuring out who Alexis was and stuff like that, I was like, I don't know if she'll speak to me at all. Like, it's a podcast. I'm just getting started. She's like doing her thing. She's been doing it for years. How am I going to be able to get her and like other people who are on that level? But like when she agreed to it and everything like that, doing the interview and everything, I was a lot more relaxed about it after that fact. And I
Yeah.
was like, all right, if I'm going to do what I want to do with this podcast, I got to be able to be comfortable enough with asking the people, number one, but also number two, being cool with them not being able to do it as well. Um,
Yes.
but after that, we got acquainted a little bit. And I just flat out asked her about her exhibit. Well, the opening of that first exhibit when she finally opened the doors to her Vibe Studio space. Did you have anybody come in there to do any videography or anything like that? And she said no. And at that point in time, I was just really looking for opportunity and a chance to like really get back into the videography thing, besides like doing my own personal stuff. And so she agreed to let me come. I knew I wasn't getting paid that first time. I wasn't worried about getting paid that first time. And after that, it just kind of came a thing where it was kind of like unspoken. Like I was a part of the team. And so now I am
Yeah.
like officially a part of the team and everything like that. But yeah, like, that's how I got acquainted with Alexis. And since being acquainted with her and being around her, seeing other people that she's worked with and other people that like know her and things of that nature, it's helped me tremendously. It's definitely made me realize the intention behind giving people here in Mississippi their flowers for real, for real. And I want to do whatever I can to help her in that sense. But it's also helped me pay more attention to a lot of other things that are going on. And so knowing that you and Sade and the whole group of y'all with the group collective had things going on, I want to make sure I gave my time and energy to that. Going to Broward Art Center or BAC, as some people might know it, putting my time and energy towards that, going to the events there was really big for me. And some of the other things going on here locally, I was like, all right, let me do my best with the time that I do have, with me doing my videography and the podcast to try to be in a lot of different these spaces and give a lot of these people their compliments and flowers that they need to, but also let them share a lot more of the things that they can offer and help people learn too. And so just that one interaction, one relationship, it's helped me tremendously in that aspect. And I know for sure, like whatever I do future wise, because like I said, my goals are really big and lofty. And I know whenever I get to like my first big time production of something, I know I want to be able to bring on people like Alexis, somebody like you, to like some of those things that we're not. Because
Yeah.
I definitely want to have Mississippi representation in whatever I do, and I definitely want to have Black women representation in whatever I do too. And so
Oh, I love that. I
that's how it
definitely
is
love
with
that.
that. So
Yes. A lot of people don't have that mindset of making sure that people are covered too. So thank you for doing that. And thank you for also making just that a part of you.
hmm
And I want to say congratulations for also finding the space that you fit in, and also finding somebody that can like guide you along the way, because not everybody has that. I can't, not to say I've been doing it alone, because at one point Alexis was kind of my mentor, but of course things don't always work out like you think they will. So we
hmm
went different ways, but it was like I was happy to also have somebody to guide me in that way,
yeah,
even if it was for a short period of time. It's so necessary to kind of have somebody push you along the way and also keep you from, getting off path and all that stuff. So it's definitely important to have it. And I'm very happy for you that you found that avenue for yourself.
thank you. Uh, Even without working there, I feel like I still would have found that group or community at some point, but I'm glad that I was able to find it at this particular moment in time in my life.
Yeah,
And I know I won't be there for like forever, but I will always be a part of that space and things of that nature,
exactly.
and hopefully be a part of the Groove Collective in some sense, be a part of some
Yes,
other
we would
things
love
going on in
that.
some sense.
Yes.
But I don't want
We've
to.
been trying to.
I know it's a lot of people who do photography and videography or whatever, so I try to be intentional about not stepping on toes or
Yeah.
whatnot. But
But we're definitely
anyway,
open to working with different videographers because not every videographer does the same thing or
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
has what we're looking for at that
yeah.
time. So, yes.
But yeah, so I'll definitely be talking to y'all more in that sense, besides having on my podcast and going to events and stuff like that. So.
Definitely will be looking forward to it.
Do you have any other questions you wanted to ask me?
Not that I can think of. I don't want to take over the whole interview now.
Hey, like I knew it was gonna happen at some point. It just so happened to happen on this episode, and so I welcome it honestly. Like I
Yes.
can't wait until somebody feels the need to interview me.
I want to do that. If you want to switch roles, we can actually do that. I take over. I take over for the day, and
Yeah.
you do your spiel. I would love to do that. I love getting to know people's stories because one thing I actually do want to start is like it wouldn't necessarily be a podcast, but it would kind
Mhm.
of be like that in a sense of like interviewing Mississippi artists, just like specifically focusing on the artists of Mississippi
Yeah.
and learning specifically about how maybe a song came to be and all that stuff and what influences it and their process and all that. Like I would really love to do that.
Whatever you do with that, let me know
Yes.
because it's in my plans to get to doing stuff like that too.
Okay.
I know it might be a thing in terms of getting our schedules together and whatnot, but let me know because I definitely want to help out with that. So.
I would say right now my schedule is pretty flexible though, just because I have a new job, but I make my own hours.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm really flexible now, and I'm trying to keep the momentum that I have going, and just I don't want to stop. I don't want to get
Mm-hmm.
back in a place that I don't want to be. So
Okay. I probably will let you do it. Got to figure out when would be a good time.
so you take your time on thinking about that.
I want to make sure that I have at least a good number of episodes in before I do my kind of like sit down.
That's like a special episode, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh man. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your experiences and some of your life journey up to this point. I definitely know that I will keep this thing rolling as long as I can, and that in another 2, 3, 4 years, if things happen the way it should, can circle back around and have you on again. So thank you.
Yes. This has been an amazing experience. I'm so glad that you reached out to me and wanted me to be on here. Honestly, I didn't think. Well, I'm not going to talk about myself in that way, but I didn't think I had enough about myself to even be interviewed about. Honestly, so this kind of makes me feel like okay, I have experience that I can talk about and maybe share with other people.
Now I do a pretty good job of. I was talking to this about Jacoby the other day because I interviewed him. He was the first person that I got back with starting this year, and I was telling him like I do a pretty good job of paying attention to people. I've been doing that since high school. Like I pay attention to a little bit of everything. I might not always say something, but I'm paying attention, and so I've been paying attention for a while now. But also doing the research about like what it is that you have been doing and like how you're trying to move yourself forward. And so I definitely felt like you deserved your time and your moment.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that.
All right. Well, it's been another episode of the More Defined podcast. Thank you guys. See y'all next time.
Thank you for having me.